Hello, friends. Happy Friday. I hope everyone is having a wonderful weekend. I hope it's, for many of you, a holiday weekend. This may be a little bit longer. I just realized I got an ashtray fire brewing over here. Uh, hope you all had a great 4th of July. I am smoking the Matches Memorial Friday Savinelli with some Haunted Bookshop in it, as is tradition, and I just gave it the first light. I'm probably going to have to light it again. But it is great to see you all. And I am relaxed and happy. I had off Thursday, obviously, because of the 4th of July here in the U.S. I took off Friday, which we used to always get that Friday if it was a Thursday holiday, but then they gave us off on the June 19th thing, so now, anyway. So I took a vacation day. I got plenty. And, yeah, I've done almost nothing, which I think I really needed to do. I just kind of have been a vegetable for a couple days. Yeah, had a little bit of an adventure today that I'll tell you about, but nothing too exciting. So, who do we have gathered so far? I see there's Big Dave, who won the quiz show tonight. If you didn't read the title card, you know what I'm talking about. Jeffrey Feinberg, Pondering with Pet-Based Pipes, first-person pipe smoker, and David Bookshop. David says, great to be here. Great to have you here. Great to have you all here, guys. Michael Case, just here cooling his chrome dome under the heat dome. Yeah, I know that feeling, Michael. Alex Saunders Jr., good to see you, Alex. Signalman Tony from Rhode Island. Codger Jim. Jim, brother's an ongoing saga, but thank you. I appreciate that. I'll tell you more about him later. He's fine. He's nothing's changed, essentially. Stanley Smith, happy 4th to you, sir. Todd Munson. Beowulf and Miss Kathy. Hello there, Steve and Kathy. Great to see you. And there's Patrick Grant. Good to see you, Patrick. Flynn Hill Breyer checking in. Haunted Bookshop being a little recalcitrant tonight. Try again. And hope I don't get anyone too excited. Jeez. Here you go, Big Dave. Hope we don't get anyone too excited, but we are going to choose the new tobacco of the month tonight, because it is the first Friday of the month. Oh no, Todd's audio is out of sync. Well, Todd, if it will make you feel better, I'll occasionally karate. Next time the smoke builds up, I'll karate chop it out of the way. How's that sound? I've completely given up on trying to understand YouTube, and why sometimes it works and sometimes I just don't know. There's the occasional Clay Piper. Hello, sir. Good to see you. Now I have a drink, and there's a story that comes with my drink. So it's going to be a good one when it has to get a preamble, right? Because you guys are going to laugh at me and ridicule me and call me names when you see what I'm drinking tonight. The only thing that might be worse is if I pulled out a Shirley Temple one, but I'm not going to do that. But this is almost as bad. So my wife she's in Pittsburgh. She's coming back. She says she's coming back on Sunday, so she'll probably be here around Tuesday, if I'm guessing right. I know she's got a doctor's appointment Tuesday or Wednesday, so she'll be here Monday or Tuesday is my guess. But she's coming back on Sunday. Recalcitrant Bookshop in New Sutliff Blend. Why not? Beowulf, Miss Kathy Carter, Hole in a Mirror. Very nice. I don't smoke mirrors, but I understand they give a nice, cool smoke from folks that love them. And Carter Hall's such a nice, smooth, cool smoke to begin with. That must be wonderful. So before my wife went to Pittsburgh, week back, 2 weeks back, I don't even remember. she's been gone so much lately. It's just like, when she's here, that's an event, and the rest of the time it's just normal. Anyway, before she left, we went out to dinner, and we went to the Iron Hill Brewery, which she likes their sweet potato fries. I like their beer, so it's a match made in heaven. And I don't know if Iron Hill Brewery is like national or just local, but I know they've got a few outside of Pennsylvania. But anyway, nice place. Basically bar food. They got a couple of other things though. No, I shouldn't say just bar food. It's not a bad little restaurant, and some really nice craft beers. So, uh, Tim Nudd, good evening to you, sir. The Smooth Piper Peter with some Haunted Bookshop and his Friday Savinelli. And there's Couch. Ilva wrapped herself around a bush in your parents' backyard this morning. The sprinkler system started and soaked her for 30 minutes. Oh no. Poor Ilva. Oh my goodness. Uh, and there's Ian Haywood with some C&D pirate cake for the win. Todd Munson's trying out a Briarworks C22 and he loves it. And Pepe once in a while don't smoke meerschaums. Just never got into them, Pepe. Don't have anything against them. I have one. It's not a great quality one. Didn't really do much for me, and I like Briar. So that's it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them. They're not my thing. So anyway, we go out to Iron Hill Brewery, and I don't even remember what it was now, but some of the beers are a bit on the high end in terms of alcohol content. And I had something, it was probably their red, which I like. They have a red lager. And I drank it, and my wife was in a good mood because, she's being nice to me because I'm letting her go away for a while, and I'm going to live all by myself and probably starve. And so I finished the beer. We're about 3/4 of the way through dinner, and she eats slower than me, and she said, "Well, why don't you get another one?" And I thought, wow. Now at this point, I'm kind of happy, and I decided I'm going to try something different, and I did, and well, apparently I enjoyed the beer because I bought a 4-pack of it and brought it home with me. I don't want to make it sound like I was falling down drunk or anything. I wasn't. I was just feeling nice. But I don't really quite remember buying the 4-pack, but I have it. And it's not, I don't even remember picking this beer. So that's my excuse, because what I've got here is Iron Hill Breweries. You're gonna make me feel bad. Oh, come on, turn the right way. Orange creamsicle milkshake. Yes, that's right. Iron creamsicle milkshake beer. So go ahead, make fun of me. I'm gonna crack it open and pour it. Pepe's got Haunted Bookshop in his Friday Savinelli. Tim Nudd's got some Old Dark Fired. Sir Zenith is having a cigar. Drew Estate Factory smokes Maduro. Sounds good. Tim Fournier just got off a business call. They have business calls on the island in the morning, Tim. And there's Sleepy Piper Todd. Hope you're doing well, Tim. Hope you're doing well, Todd. Piper on the porch. He's got some Three Friars, one of my favorite blends. And Chris Cote, good evening to you in Michigan. I think I'm caught up. All right, so let's open up some Iron Hill Orange Creamsicle Milkshake beer. It's good. Well, at least I think it is. Oh, by the way, it's an IPA, which you know how I love IPAs. It also is like an 8 or 9 ABV, so we're going to have some fun tonight, apparently. The big can. Looks exactly like an orange creamsicle milkshake, doesn't it? It's the strangest thing. It just somehow all works together. The initial flavor is that IPA hoppy thing, which I could live without, but it then hits you with the orange and it's got a creaminess to it. It's actually a very nice beer. Fantastic for summertime. The anti-Scotch, said David Bookshop. Yes. The Good Humor Guy did indeed never have that on their truck, Michael. First person smoker's got his own mixture of luxury twist flake plus other good stuff. Gary wants a can. If you lived closer, Gary, I'd have you come on over. I got 3 more. Should be frozen and on a stick, says Big Dave. Yes. Captain Black Arch Creamsicle. Ah. Let me tell you what's written on the can here, because it's kind of interesting. So it says, I scream, you scream, we all scream for orange and cream. This hazy, juicy, creamy, double dry hop delight is brewed with blood orange, vanilla bean, and silky lactose for that fresh off-the-truck flavor. You know, as somebody that knows a little bit about chemistry, I've never thought of lactose as silky. And, oh, it's only 7%. Okay. I thought it was higher than that. That's good. I can handle 7%. It also has a government warning on it. Huh. I did not know that. I actually did know that, but I just like to make the government feel like it's doing something. Pepe, it's from Iron Hill Brewery, which I believe it's Pennsylvania. Let me see if it says where it's made. I think they are. I don't think all their beers are brewed at that spot, but they do have a brewery there. IronHillBrewery.com if you're interested. It actually says beer with natural flavor on it. Come on, where are you made? That's interesting. I would have thought they would have proudly crafted in Exton, PA. And it has the Independent Craft Brewers Association seal of approval. So you can't beat that with a stick. Well, Gary, I hope those other several cans treat you well. No, Michael, we do not want to give Captain Black any ideas. And there's Palm. Good to see you there, sir. Sounds like a beer for people who want that pregnant craving feeling. Oh, I get you, Tim. Yeah. No, it's not Iron City, although I do like it. Oh, do you have Iron City, Gary? I love Iron City. I used to drink that all the time in Pittsburgh. Best treatment for a pinched nerve in your neck, Big Dave. Wow. Well, I probably would recommend an anti-inflammatory ibuprofen and alternating hot and cold packs. Doug Owen, good to see you, sir. Moving too fast for me, guys. Revoke your man card. Okay, Tim, okay. Let's see. Vanilla, soy milk, and orange juice 50-50 tastes pretty good. Looks a bit lumpy, though. Oh, God. Oh, God, Flannel, no. I wouldn't be surprised about the warning labels there, Stephen Cathy. Iron Maiden Brewery. Sleepy Piper Todd asking Big Dave if he's tried a chiropractor. I've been going to a chiropractor. I never thought I would, but they've been doing okay by me. Pepe, this one is made in Exton, but they may have one in Hershey as well. I think they have, like, there's a brewery. This is in Spring Hill, PA, where I went, and there's a brewery there. Couch is drinking sun-kissed orange, zero sugar. So we got an orange theme going on, Couch. Good deal. Patrick Grant's got a natty daddy. Paul Johnson, Gray Ghost with some added stove, Virginia. I do like Gray Ghost, Paul. Sounds good. Tim had his dog Bella walked again after chiropractor. I've heard some amazing stories about chiropractors working on animals. The one that I go to actually used to do pets, but for some reason she stopped. I can't remember the exact reason behind it. It was like a financial thing or insurance or something like that, but apparently it was very successful. And she keeps horses, and she actually learned to do animals in order to help some of her horses. And people, there's a lot of horse farms in the area, and people would bring their horses to her, and then she started doing dogs and cats and things. Todd says acupuncture worked for his neck. You know, I'm a neuroscientist. That's what I do for a living. Don't make fun of me. It's bad enough you're making fun of my beer. And I never believed in any of this stuff. You know, chiropractor. I thought chiropractors were quacks. And I told this chiropractor when I went to see them for the first time, I was desperate. I was having really bad leg pain. Um, and I said, you know, I don't believe what you're doing. I think it's nonsense. And they said, okay, well, you know, they were good. They said, well, thank you for saying that, but you know, you're willing to try it. I said, yeah, I'm willing to try it. And they gave me a book on, I forget what it was called, but it was like a scientific approach to chiropractic, written for a popular audience. And I read that book and I thought, okay, let's see what happens. And it started, you know, just started to feel better after the first time. And I was a convert. And, you know, I've never tried acupuncture, but if I needed to, I'd probably give it a try. The Gray Ghost was Bruce Wayne's favorite TV show as a kid. Huh. The Men 3, if it's a pinched tech nerve, see an orthopedist and ask about 2 rounds of prednisone pills. Yeah, you got to get the inflammation down for sure. The Men 3. I agree with you on that. Yeah, that topical Glenfiddich doesn't work as well, Doug. I'm glad you pointed that out. Ron Hardcrackers drinking some cold tea, but he's going to have some beer Sun-made. Nice. Never tried the Rattray Exotic Orange, Paragon Piper. I wonder about that. Gary's got his Peterson House Pipe with vanilla custard tonight. Lord Hogarth, I used to think exactly that, and I've talked to some folks that have had really bad experiences with chiropractors, so I think it's hit and miss. Probably a lot more miss. So maybe that quite a few chiropractors fall under that category. Yard Pimp, salute to you, sir. Tim is recommending rubbing dirt on it. That's, one of those schoolyard medical approaches. All right, Pepe. I hope you hope your mom enjoys the theater there, and I'll see you on Sunday, buddy. Take care. Orange belongs in sodas, not pipe tobacco, says Doug Owen. Doug, I agree with you wholeheartedly, but you can put a little in my beer. Flint Hill, I agree with you 100% on that. You know, chiropractors can help adjust things that are physically out of whack, but they're not going to treat infectious disease or permanent wear and tear. And that's something that my chiropractor has been really good about. So I have a couple of issues from my chemotherapy treatments. One is that I've got some neuropathy. I also have it blew out some of the veins in my leg, so I've got varicose veins that give me a lot of trouble. And I also have a torn meniscus in both my knees. And when I talked to the chiropractor, she was very upfront. She said, "Well, you know, there's nothing we can do for that. That's not what we do." And she said, "But if any of the pain in your leg is coming from your back, it's possible that, you know, there might be a physical adjustment that can relieve some of that." So this one at least was really upfront about what they could do, and, you know, I appreciated it. But again, it's your mileage may vary thing. Phil Rivera, how you doing, Phil? Good to see you tonight, buddy. Hope things have settled down there a bit. Phil had some rough times with the firework jerks last night. And I'm dramatically understating it. It's probably not good to say when your neighbor's house catches fire that you had a rough time. Yeah. Mushroom Leg, hello, buddy. Good to see you tonight. So speaking of doctors and such, I've so I had a couple of problems. Um, the biggest of which was I found myself clearing my throat a lot recently. And, you know, it's not a big deal, but it's different. And I thought this is kind of odd. I wasn't really worried about it, but I thought maybe it was an allergy thing, but I'm taking Claritin and, you know. So I thought maybe I should go see the doctor about this. And my wife keeps bothering me, well, nagging me because she says I fall asleep too easy. No, I have not been. Bill says he's hot, tired. Swab cooler pump failed. Oh gosh, Phil. You got quite the streak running there, buddy. I hope things get better. So my wife says I fall asleep too easily. I'm tired all the time. I don't quite agree with that because, you know, I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. By 6 o'clock at night, I'm a little tired, and sometimes I don't go to bed on time. You know, sometimes I stay up later, and, you know, so I'm getting maybe 6 hours, 7 hours sleep every night. And if I nod off after dinner, I think that's kind of normal. But anyway, she's been needling me about this. So I went to the doctor, and I'm saying, I got this thing where I'm clearing my throat a lot. And also, my wife wanted me to say that I'm tired. And I explained it to him. And I got a really good doctor. I got really lucky with this guy. He's very thorough. He's very careful. Um, and he's also willing to talk. And I mean, he probably asked me, he asks so many times if I have any questions that it's almost uncomfortable because, like, I can't think of any more questions, you know. Just catching up here on the Tim thinks that drinking orange creamsicle beer is one of my problems. It could be. It could be. So anyway, I go to the doctor and I say, I've got this thing where it's like a catch in my throat. I'm not coughing or anything. It's just I have to clear my throat a lot more. And my wife wanted me to say I'm tired. And so, oh, she cares about you. That's nice. I say, yeah. Well, I walk out of the doctor's office and, well, first off, so I'm now on proton pump inhibitors for acid, and because he thinks there might be some acid reflux going on. I'm using Flonase at double the requested dose for 4 weeks to see if that does anything. I've got to use a saline nasal spray. Okay, that all makes sense. But then he says, just to be safe, let's do an EKG. Yeah, Tim, I actually, it's not a drop in testosterone. I'll tell you about that too. He says, let's do an EKG. So okay, we're going to do an EKG. And I'll just cut to this. So he sends me for blood test. He wants me to get a full blood workup, the normal differential and all that stuff, cell blood count differential. He wants me to get a testosterone test done, a D-dimer test, which is because I have a history I had a pulmonary embolism back when I was on chemo. So he wants that done just to be safe. And, so I'm like a walking experiment now. So I go and get all this blood drawn. This is Wednesday. And he says, let's do an EKG just to be safe. So, okay. So he, puts and he tells me, okay, they're going to come in and do the EKG. And assuming everything's fine, I'll take a quick look at it and you can go. You don't have to wait for me. But if anything shows up, if there are any concerns, I'll come back and talk to you. It's okay, fine. So I lay on the table, they do the EKG. See why? Yeah, so that'll do it. So they do the EKG and they say, okay, just a minute. And I'm still like all hooked up and stuff, and they go off and they come back and they start taking the leads off of me and they say, the doctor wants you to wait. Like, oh, okay. And what he said was, if there's anything concerning, I'll come back and talk to you. So now I'm alone in the room for about 5 minutes and I'm thinking, all right, this isn't going to be good. So he comes back and he's got the EKG in hand and he walks into the room and he says, there's nothing to worry about. I know I told you that, I'd only come back if there was something concerning, but everything's okay. All right, that's good. So he shows me the EKG, and honestly, okay, I'm a neurophysiologist. I don't know very much about EKGs, but I know what they're supposed to look like, kind of, and this thing looked weird. And he's walking me through it, and I've seen them before, and something looks odd on this. And he's saying, so... I don't have one to compare it from recently, but, it's probably nothing. But it might be that a big part of your heart isn't getting enough oxygen. Like, that sounds like it might be something. And keep in mind, I'm feeling fine, and I got all the blood tests back. There's nothing wrong, So he says, okay, I want you to get an echocardiogram, just to be safe. Okay, so, and by the way, I see a cardiologist once a year, and they have not seen any issues with my heart. I once had a cardiologist tell me I had the heart of a 14-year-old boy. Granted, that was 10 years ago at least, but I worry about that 14-year-old boy. So I went today to get the echocardiogram, and they're doing that. And at this point, I'm worried. Not like I'm really, really worried, but there's something odd going on, and it's got me, a little concerned. And he said, okay, this will be, real fast. We're just going to do they hook you up to an EKG, and then they do an ultrasound on your heart. And she's taking all the pictures and stuff, and roll this way, roll that way. Very nice woman named Raman, of all things. And Raman finishes everything, and she says, well, if it's okay with you, we'd like to give you an injection of a contrast agent so that we can get some better pictures. I'm like, oh, okay. Is this normal? And she said, oh yeah, it happens all the time. We try to avoid it if we can, but so they go and do that, and they take some more pictures, and I said, so when is this going to be done? When am I going to have the results? And he said, well, it might not be until Monday. I said, okay, but if I'm going to fall over on my way to the parking lot, and they say, oh, a doctor would already be talking to you. Good. So I'm good. I don't know. It's one of these crazy things where it just kind of snowballed on me. If I would have not listened to my wife and not told him I was tired, none of this would have happened. Uh, but he gave me several possibilities. He said it might be low testosterone, and that was the other thing I got done on the blood test. And I've had a doctor tell me this before, and I've gotten the test for testosterone, and both times I'm like really at the high end of things, so that's not the problem. Um, he said it could be, and I really love this, it could be that I have an ulcer that started a low dripping leak where I'm just bleeding slowly, and that could be causing me to be tired. But boy, that's a pleasant thought. So that's one of the reasons why I'm taking the proton pump inhibitors. And then the third was it could be something with my heart. And of course, the fourth is that I'm just tired because I'm only sleeping 6 hours a night, but nobody wants to believe that. So. Faster, stronger, harder, Tim. That's the way to do it. Whether it's lip or lip. I still have the heart of me. Keep it in a jar by my table. There you go, Yornik. That ramenish tops. Good one, Michael. I don't know, Doug. Those parts would get me in trouble. It's really interesting, Flint Hill. At least I thought it was interesting, the contrast that they use. So it's actually it's the way it was described to me, and I have not looked this up, but she said it was air bubbles surrounded by lipid. So it's basically a lipid is fat. So it's like an oil covering on an air bubble. So it's little emulsified air and oil. And they inject that, and it passes through. Eventually, you just breathe it out. These are microscopic air bubbles, obviously, but it creates a really good contrast for them to see. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Contrasting dye works better than oh, Gary. I bet they were impressed. No, Big Dave, sleep apnea was not mentioned, and please don't say those words to my wife because she's convinced that's a problem too. White Ash Piper Squared, how you doing, buddy? Oh, Yornik, sorry you got the insomnia, but I'm glad you could at least spend some time with us. I did not buy anything at the Smoking Pipes 4th of July sale. I was a good boy. Yeah, Doug, I feel that way sometimes too. Yeah, Flint Hill, that's an odd thing. I've had, when I've gotten the scans that they do for the pulmonary embolism, The first time I got one, this is a CT scan with a contrast dye, and the first time I got one, they said, "We're going to inject this dye into you, and you're going to feel like you wet yourself, but you didn't. Don't worry." And I thought, well, that's the oddest thing. And sure enough, it feels exactly like you've just let go, and it's the strangest thing. It really feels. I guess it's just because there's that warmth down there, but it's a really odd feeling. If you've never had one, well, I hope you never need one. But if you ever do, it's an amazing thing to experience. Yeah, Paragon, I know, and thank you for talking about that. I'm sorry about your sister-in-law. Apnea is definitely a serious medical condition and should be treated. I just can't imagine. I mean, I'm supposed to wear a night guard on my teeth because I grind my teeth at night. Although everybody that I know that goes to this dentist has a night guard, so I think it's a bit of a scam. But I can't even wear that. I can't have anything. I just can't sleep if I've got it. So I don't know how I would do that. Oh no, wait a minute. What's Phil doing to me? Oh, Phil, please don't send me. It's like, no, no. She thinks she has an MD anyway. I tell her all the time, put away your medical degree. Because she just starts she diagnoses people on the internet. Like she's got these friends on my face and she'll say, so and so said she got this and she's going to this doctor, but I told her she better go to the. You're not a doctor. I can imagine that would help, Yernick. Doug, I think that's far too coherent a statement for him to have made. This is true, Big Dave. At least she hasn't started running tests. Although she did make me get a stress test a couple months back. Um, she kept talking about the widowmaker aneurysm, which I thought she made it up. And she kept saying, "Ask your doctor about that. You're in the age range." So I went to the same doctor. I said, "My wife keeps talking about this thing called the widowmaker that I think she, heard on the internet or something, but I know that's not something, but I promised her I'd bring it up." And he said, "Oh no, that's definitely something. We'll get you a stress test." Great. Another day of my life I'll never get back. That's true, Ron. Maybe I can get a mouth guard made out of ebonite. Oh, doctor, give me the news. Thank you, Tim. That's now stuck in my head. I love that joke, Yernick. XJ, good morning, sir. Good to see you, buddy. Been a while. Hope all's well down under. Can we say down under for Tasmania? I hope so. Yes, my wife caused the stress test. Yes. Well, folks, I have finished my haunted bookshop a little early tonight, it seems. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. We've been going 40 minutes. Heck. So my wife will call me this evening, and as she always does, whether she's here or she's away, she'll ask me, "So what did you talk about tonight?" And normally I say, "I don't know, Gilligan's Island." Um, but tonight I can say, "Your medical prowess, dear." Yeah, Michael, it was odd. I thought it was odd to get the stress test without symptoms as well. Andrew Sorigliano, good evening. Great to see you, buddy. Gary, that stinks, but better safe than sorry, right? The blend of the month is to be determined, Patrick. So it's time to find out what the blend of the month shall be. Let me just top off my beer because it's going to get warm if it stays in this can. And for those of you that tuned in late and still want to make fun of me, I am enjoying some Iron Hill Brewery Orange Creamsicle Milkshake Beer. Yes, yes, get a good look at that. Got 3 more cans of this. There you go, Beowulf, Miss Kathy. That's exactly true. You go to the doctor to say, "How you doing?" It's funny. I did it today. How are you today? Fine. Well, if I was fine, I wouldn't be here. So, Lord Hogarth, she keeps complaining about life insurance, and I've got a really strong opinion about life insurance, so I refuse to get it. Because why am I going to pay for something that will only be of value after I'm dead? Yeah, if she buys a borescope, I'm moving, Big Dave. It's not Bud Light, Couch, so we're good there. Um, but oh, I lost my train of thought. Oh, life insurance. Yeah, I mean, I take care of her. I made sure that if I do disappear, she'll be okay. But we do not have to do that through life insurance. There's better ways to do that through investments and things like that. So, uh, it's not that sweet, DMN3. It's more because it's an IPA. It's got that more of a hoppy sour taste that works really well with the orange. I have to admit, I like it. I mean, as strange as it sounds, it's a very tasty beer. And it is a nice summer drink for sure, Peter. Uh, Found the Makita drill. I'm sorry, XJ. It's been so long. I don't remember the Makita drill now, but I'm glad you found it. Matthew Geese. Hello, sir. Good to see you. All right, tobacco of the month time. We got 3. Shouldn't tell you this, but I've got a horse in this race. I actually thought about rigging this one, but it's going to be a fair and honest election. We got 3 to choose from here. 2 are in jars, so that's a little different. We've been doing a lot of tins lately. All right, number 1. Please do not vote until I get through all three, because otherwise I will not be able to keep track. Number one is Cornell and Deal Burley Flake number one. That should be easy to remember. This is from 2017, September of 2017, and it's got a big bulge in the bottom. So I don't know if you can see that or not, but this thing doesn't sit flat anymore. So this should be fun to open. Burley Flake number one is number one. Number two, sticking with the Cornell and Deal theme here. Number two is, you're not going to be able to read that? Oh, yes, you can. Cornell and Deal Shandygaff from 2015. Shandygaff is a fine summer blend. Haven't had that in a while. Haven't had Burley Flake number one in a while either. And number three, from March of 2022, so not quite as old as the others. This is a jar of Newminster number 403 Superior Round Slices. And so you see they're round slices. So, number one, Burley Flake number one. Number two, Shandygaff. Number three, Newminster. What do we got? We got a three. We got a two. We got a one. Everybody's tied up. Tim's not voting. Sorry, Tim, I'm not going to count to five. Oh, we got another one. We got a another three. So we got a tie between the Newminster and the Burley Flake. Burley Flake pulls ahead. Newminster ties up again. Newminster pulls ahead with Patrick Grant's vote. Number two. Now we're all tied up again. Burley Flake pulls ahead. Burley Flake by two rather. Shandygaff is down by one. Burley Flake. Shandygaff down by one. Burley Flake, Shandygaff down by three. Burley Flake again. Okay, Burley Flake seems to be running away with it. Ron says his vote can be bought. Tim's voting for number one and I can send him some? Happy to do so, buddy. Okay, Burley Flake's running away with it. We got a couple more Newminsters coming in, but yeah, there's two more Burley. All right, we're gonna call it at that. We're gonna do the Burley Flake number one, which is cool. I mean, 2017 is long enough for this. It's a Burley blend, so this is dark base of Burley with hints of spice and extra richness. Red Virginia for that unforgettable natural sweetness, and then just a splash of Perique. This is my kind of blend. Thank you, guys. Just so you know, and we are definitely going with Burley Flake number one now, so voting is closed. The horse that I had in the race was Shandygaff. I really wanted to crack that open because I haven't had it in a while, but that's okay. The people have spoken. I can open the Shandygaff anyway. My tobacco, I can do whatever I want. Boy, this thing is really popped up. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I'll see if I can give you a hiss here. Wow. I don't know if you could hear that, but that scared me a little bit. Tim, I'm absolutely certain this tobacco has been nowhere near Budweiser. Oh, that smells good. Wow. I hate these things. Why did they put that in there? Wow, that really smells good. Let me take a look at it. It's got a wee bit of bloom on it. Mold, but it's white mold, so probably not able to see that very well. Trying to catch the light so you can, well, anyway, it's a little bit white on the top, but it's fine. And it is the typical Cornell and Deal broken flake. So let's go ahead and rub some of this out and put it in a pipe. It's very moist, which is nice given the age on it. And that ought to be more than enough. And I'm just going to rub this out on the thing here. I'm rubbing it out because I just want to. I could have probably just rolled this and stuffed it, but I want to show you the blend because it's pretty. There we go. Very nice. And we're going to be smoking this in a J. Mouton Lavat. Identified with white mold. Oh, Doug, that's funny. The best hiss since Aldrin betrayed the country. It's probably fermented, Gary. Probably some fermentation that would explain the hissing. The mold, you get that with age on tobacco. It's a lot of people think it's sugar crystals or whatnot, but it's not. It's mold, and it's okay. If it's green, don't smoke it. That's my rule of thumb. Your mileage may vary. All right, let me just put these little bits back in the tin. Oh, I already can tell this is going to be wonderful. Good choice, guys. Shandy Gaff was my first choice, but this was my second choice. Yes, XJ. In fact, all of the stuff that people refer to as sugar crystals is actually mold. I love telling cigar guys that because they get so upset. Mm. Oh, that is nice. Smooth Piper says he had some from 2009 that was so good. Oh, I can imagine. This is really nice. This is I've smoked a fair amount of Burley. In fact, if Burley Flake #1 was available in bulk, I'd probably smoke it all the time. So I've had a fair amount of this, but usually fresh. I buy it and smoke it. And this is definitely much more mellow, rich. There's the Virginia is very obvious. That Perique still wants to play. So, good stuff. The green stuff is the best, says XJ. If you're lucky, you won't even remember who you are. The sugar should be causing the fermentation, Tim, and it'll be broken down into I remember right, aldehydes and acetic acid, which is why some of the fermenting tobaccos smell like vinegar. Not as much vinegar as McClellan, but you should get some. But the point is, fermentation should consume sugar, not create sugar. It does produce a fair amount of smoke, Big Dave. Not copious amounts, mind you, but it's not bad. Oh, what kind of tamper am I using tonight? I believe this is from 8 Deco. This was a gift from my buddy Christian. I haven't seen Christian on tonight. Bona Piper sent me this. It's black leather wrapped, and it nicely has this feature here where you get a little picky scoopy tool, which comes in handy sometimes. And it's got, I like, because some pipes a lot of tampers are yay big, and there are some pipes that I smoke where they either have a conical bottom to them or they're just narrower. And I like having a smaller end like that, and this one has got that nice profile to it as well, so you can kind of go around the outside and dome the tobacco up. Yeah, Christian very kindly sent me this and a matching lighter, if I recall. That's one of the reasons, excuse how filthy this is, but that's one of the reasons why I make these tampers, because I've got the small end and then a larger end here, which allows me to get into those conical bowls or smaller bowls. Ah, Yornik, that would be an interesting advertising campaign. Very special reserve. Patrick's got a Larry Blackett skull tamper. Cool. Yes, Gary, he's monitoring the internet at all times for that word. Oh, Tim, I don't think I'm in Everett's league. Yeah, Andrew, you're right. That is heresy. Haven't seen Everett in a while. I think he's doing a social media fast sort of thing, which good for him. Yep, Doug, it's usually the Dublin shapes for me as well. I like them, but getting to the bottom of the bowl, you need that smaller tamper. By the way, speaking of social media fast, I've been, since I've been dealing with all the stuff I've been dealing with lately, I have not been paying very much attention to anything. So Instagram, YouTube comments, emails, I'm way behind on. So if you've sent me something, I apologize if I haven't been back in touch. It's I'm gonna try to get caught up maybe tomorrow. It's just finding the time to do it. And yes, I just said that I'd spend 2 days doing nothing, but the last thing I wanted to do was look at a computer. Well, that's not true, because I spend most of the time looking at a computer. So I just lied. I didn't want to think. I didn't want to have to think about communicating with people. I just wanted to be alone. So I hope you guys understand that. Skull temper sounds like an abusive spouse. XJ says it's another name for the bottom of a frying pan. Fantastic. Oh, yes. Thank you, Peter and Patrick. Please do hit the like button, guys. It helps get the word out and bring people into the community. So it's a good thing for everyone. Gary's asking how my brother is. My brother is pretty much as he was last week. He is home now, so they have sent him home from the hospital. There's a bit of aggravation involved with, we want him to go to Dartmouth, and everything was set up with that. They transferred the records to Dartmouth, and Dartmouth said, "Oh, he doesn't have a cancer diagnosis, so we can't see him. He has to see a GI doctor, and for that he needs a referral." So fortunately, he's seeing his primary care on Monday, and the primary care will hopefully, and if he doesn't, I'm going to go up there and break the guy's arm. I didn't just say that. He will hopefully give him a referral to go to Dartmouth, and hopefully sometime next week he'll be seen there. So that's where that stands right now. Nothing has changed beyond that. Guys, I got to slow down. I just realized we got a half an hour left, and that's how good the orange creamsicle milkshake beer is. Oh, Dagwood and Blondie and the Sunday Funnies. There you go, Doug. Did you like the Dagwood and Blondie movies? The Blondie movies, I guess they were all called Blondie. Were they all called Blondie or Dagwood? No, they were Blondie. Thank you, Patrick. And thank you, everyone that's been sending up prayers. On the other side of the family, my father-in-law is in the hospital. He was severely dehydrated. And he's having some issues with fluid balance and dehydration. And he gets fluid in his lungs that they have to drain. And then he gets dehydrated. And they keep going back and forth with this. For him, he's going to be 93 in August, and he's lived a really good life, and I think he's approaching the next stage, and that's okay. Like I said, he's lived a good life. He's a really great guy. I've been very fortunate to know him, and I've learned a lot from him, and he's the guy that introduced me to fly tying. My wife's going to take it hard. She's going to take it really hard, and I'm trying to get her prepared for this, but it's not easy. I'm not the most compassionate person in the world, and when somebody starts to cry or something, I just want to fix things, and I tend to get very ham-handed about that stuff. So, if you're going to pray, or send warm thoughts or whatever you like to think about her and her family, and him as well, just need that peace. They need to understand that this is just the natural course of things. Gary, open another beer. I could. The beer fridge is right there. But yeah, I won't be able to get back up the steps. Number 9 skillet, huh? That must have hurt. Yeah, absolutely, Doug. I think they did a good job, though. It was a whole series of movies, if I remember. They used to be on every Saturday when I was a kid. One of the local UHF channels. It's funny that I remember there used to be, like, there'd always be a Blondie movie on. There'd always be, who was the Egg and I? Does anybody remember that? Um, there was it's like that was always on. You just always could see that. It was kind of like when you turned on the Tonight Show, you knew that probably Burt Reynolds or Dom DeLuise was going to be there. It just seemed like the entertainment world was so much smaller. Oh, Patrick, I'm sorry to hear about your aunt. I'm so sorry about that. Well, I will certainly pray for her and your family. I think you mentioned that she was sick a few weeks back, so I hope she went peacefully. Oh, and Gary's cousin with ALS isn't doing well. So sorry, Gary. Well, we'll be praying for your cousin. Oh, Phil, I don't know if I got the time to set that up, but it's a good idea. Mom, Pa Kettle. That's what I was struggling to remember, Gary. Yes, Mom, Pa Kettle was on a lot. UHF is a great movie. That was the Weird Al movie, wasn't it, Tim? George Gobel. Yes, Michael. Yes. Yeah, it's probably just the way we look back on those things, but it seems like there were only 4 or 5 guests on the Tonight Show. Well, they would rotate, and then he'd have other people on, but you always had one of those 4 or 5 people. Bowery Boys. That was, yes, Hunts Hall and the Bowery Boys. That was on every single weekend. Egg and I Road. That's interesting, Doug. 25 degrees in Tasmania. My goodness, XJ. It's all relative, isn't it? Oh, Phil, that stinks. Yeah, I imagine you were clenching your teeth hard. Ambisol. Haven't thought of that in a long time, thankfully. But boy, when that stuff does work. You didn't like the Dennis the Menace show, Doug? Hello, Mr. Wilson. You know, I've had too much alcohol when I start doing Jay North impressions. I'm glad I pulled that Jay North out of my, yeah. Oh, was Tony Randall their their reserve guest, Michael? I didn't know that. Wow, actually, you having a real cold spell, huh? Are you getting any weather with that, or is it just cold temperatures? Are you getting, snow or anything? Wheel of Fish. Is that a UHF reference, Tim? Daniel Boone was another great show, Phil. Eddie Haskell was your childhood hero, Lord Hogarth. I love Leave It to Beaver. I don't know if it's still on, but it used to be on at 7 o'clock in the morning here, and I would get up early and watch it before I went to work. It was on MeTV. Uh, so they would actually go through the episodes in order. So I probably have seen the whole series like 4 or 5 times. Well, clear and sunny is better than covered in snow, XJ, but still, that's cold. No, Gary, I really can't do a second beer. I would, with that alcohol content, it would knock me out. Lurker Troy, Gentle Ben is another good one. Yeah. My Three Sons. Good one, Peter. A lot of those shows, I like them because there's something about. I was thinking about this the other day because I was watching. What the heck was I watching? Oh, Ultraman. Well, I finished Ultraman, and I moved on to Ultra Seven, which was the next show in the line. Um, I it was a big deal when I was a kid, and I just found it on YouTube, and I've been watching it. And there's something about the quality of the film. I mean, it's not a good show. There's nothing good about it. It's campy. It's ridiculous rubber suited monsters. It's very contrived plot lines that you can almost predict what's going to happen minute by minute. But there's just something about the quality, the look of things. The way the cars look and the way the rooms look and stuff that makes me feel comfortable. And I don't know exactly what it is, but I guess it's because I grew up in that era that that's the way the world's supposed to look to me, and it doesn't look like that. And so when I see it on TV, and if I watch a movie from the 70s, I feel that way too, or late 60s. There's just something comforting about that. And a lot of these shows, like we're talking about earlier time points now with Leave It to Beaver, My Three Sons, and so on. But there's some of the, like Gentle Ben was later. They've got that same feel to them that I just feel comfortable watching them. And I know they're not the most exciting plots, and but today everybody wants the crazy CGI stuff. And I don't know, it's just harder for me to feel comfortable watching something like that. Good point, Doug. Fred McMurray was quite a talent. Yeah. I was going. Oh, CGI. I watched Godzilla minus one. I think that's what it was called. Godzilla minus one. The Sorry, furnace is heating the water. Forgot to turn it off. Godzilla minus one, which was the Toho Japanese-made recent Godzilla movie. My goodness, that was a fantastic movie. I mean, it was really, really good. It's on Netflix. It's and there is an English dubbed version, which I didn't think there was, but there is. Probably better to watch it with subtitles, but the thing about this movie that's just phenomenal is that it was made. The numbers vary, but there's some estimates that it was made for like $10 to $13 million. That's ridiculous. I mean, these overhyped CGI filled Avenger movies are costing over $300 million to make, and nobody wants to see them. And this movie did fantastic. Oh, are Steve and Kathy taking off? All right, have a good night, folks. You take care, guys. Hope you have a great weekend. This movie did really well at the box office, incredibly well. In fact, I think it was actually taken out early because it was kind of showing up the Godzilla. What was it? Godzilla X Kong or whatever that thing was that nobody went to see. But it is an excellent movie. It has character development. The film quality is really good. It does have some CGI in it. It also has some practical effects in it that's well done. It's non-stop action. I mean, Godzilla appears in the first 5 minutes, and it's just bang, bang, bang right through the movie. So you're on the edge of your seat the whole time. But they still have time to develop a love interest and a really touching story and put the war into perspective because it was post World War II. Really good movie. I highly recommend it. Why have we gotten so far away from that? Tim, if Tootsie Rolls are all you see, you need to see a doctor. Yornik, have a good night. Get some sleep, buddy. Great seeing you. Flint Hill and XJ are talking about thylacines. I do not know what a thylacine is, but I will look that up as soon as this is over. Tim, they're not top grossing box office movies. Go and look at the numbers. They haven't even made back their budget. They're not top grossing. Where does the time go indeed, Patrick? Ah, furnace is done. You guys casting aspersions on Lassie now? Oh, I see. It's a gender identity thing with Rin Tin Tin and Lassie. Gotcha. You see what they make, Tim, but compare it to what they spent making them. If they're spending more to make a movie than they're making at the box office, that's not a very good business. Matthew, I like the Western Channel too. It's one of those things where I never plan to watch it, but sometimes I'll put it on and lose a couple hours. And just out of curiosity, and I'm willing to be wrong here, but let's look up Godzilla X Kong. Oh, am I gonna have to pay to see this? Oh, seriously? You gotta have IMDb. Alcohol's kicking in. IMDb Pro to see the box office. Okay, let's just try a direct Google thing. So in the US, Godzilla X Kong made 196.4 million. And they're saying it's the highest grossing Godzilla film ever. It was 135 million budget. Okay. That did make its money back. That's just the US numbers. It made more. Tim's sending me stuff there. Godzilla minus one made 115.8 million, so it made less, but again, it only cost. Oh, and it made 500. Wait, but it only cost 10 to 15 million to make, so it made slightly less than the 100 and whatever million, but at a tenth of the budget. What did Tim send me? Tim says the production cost of Avengers Endgame, the Avengers, and the Avengers Age of Ultron amounted to 356 million, 220 million, 250 million global. Yeah, but you're talking about global box office. I don't believe those numbers, Tim. I don't believe they made billions. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, I believe you, but I got to look at the numbers myself because there's something not right there. I mean, it's very unusual for a movie to make that much. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's a lot of people that like to watch that stuff. But I think that the people that do like to watch it are probably watching it for reasons different than I watch a movie. And I don't know. I don't know if that's a cultural shift or what it is, but I mean, just out of curiosity, how many of you guys have seen any of the Avenger movies? Godzilla actually fought Ultraman. He wasn't called Godzilla, but it was the same costume. And he lost. Yes, that's a good point, Doug. Avengers does bring up Diana Rigg. My goodness. Okay, so Patrick's seen a few of them. Tim's watched them all. Tim, we get you're a fan. I appreciate that, buddy. Lurker Troy's seen a couple because his grandkids had it on. Michael says never. Patrick's seen a few of them. The last of the comic book movies I saw was like the second Iron Man movie. And I could have left in the middle of it. It was just silly. Brian says they're fun to watch. Okay. So we got a balance here, Tim. You just sent me the numbers that you pulled up, so I trust that. Speaking of the original Godzilla, Doug, the one thing that Godzilla minus one was lacking was Raymond Burr. They could have put some Raymond Burr in that; it would have been a perfect movie. I'm willing to suspend disbelief for a guy in a flying suit, Brian, but it's just, when they start to they just start to sort of invent things. They create these impossible scenarios, and then it's like, oh yeah, parts of the suit can fly independently and find him and stuff like that. And yes, I know they explain it and the kid fixed it and whatnot, but it's still, it's like there's no logic to it. There's no consistent logic to the universe they're trying to create. They'll just constantly invent another way for the hero to get out of whatever the obstacle is. Ponderance of a Gravedigger, good evening. But if that's what people are enjoying, it's what people are enjoying. Archie comics, my goodness, Peter, I haven't thought about those in a long time. Red Morrison, that was the impression that I had as well. They cost more and more and have made less and less. Tim just sent me some numbers that disagree with that, so I'm not sure where that's coming from. But it's the same story I understand with the Star Wars stuff, where they're making this stuff and it's just flopping. I mean, what was the recent show that they put out, the streaming show that they put out that was just like universally dismissed? Began with an A, Acolyte or something like that. I never knew Reggie had a last name, Doug. That's interesting. I haven't seen enough, Brian, to know if they went woke, but I wouldn't be surprised given Hollywood these days. But movies and music and art and pipe smoking all share one thing in common, and that's if you enjoy what you're doing it right. So if you like the Avenger movies, Tim, God bless you, and I'm glad you enjoy them. And I know people are out there who are probably really enjoying the Star Wars, the new Star Wars stuff, and that's great. Um, Not for everybody, but that's okay. And I guess that's one of the nice things about the massive amount of entertainment we have today. I think it's a blessing and a curse. I mean, back when there were, you know, three network channels and then the three UHF channels if you were lucky, the advertising dollar really meant something, and they had to produce quality in order to justify those advertising dollars. Now you've got what, 200, 300 channels, and the advertisers don't know where to put their money. So everybody gets something, and therefore anything gets shown. So there's been a dip in quality in some cases, but in other cases, there's a lot more independent things that are being made. There's a lot more streaming services that are playing things like the shows we were talking about earlier, things that wouldn't be on TV today if it weren't for this explosion in availability. And there's still the market for the more modern type things. So, you know, I guess it's a blessing and a curse. Well, Tim, to be fair, just because they're making money doesn't mean they're good. But it's been pretty consistent, and I've seen a couple of news pieces that have said that they're not making what they spend on the budgets. So I'm really perplexed, and I'm glad you sent those numbers because it's made me rethink this. So I appreciate that, and I will dig into this and better understand it because I don't want to fall into the category that you're saying there of just believing what you hear. And Tim, we've talked about this before. If there wasn't a Star Trek movie franchise, that would have been just fine by me. I don't think that Star Trek movies were that good compared to the original series. And Star Trek's been on a decline for many years now. Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. That's another good one, Gary. With that sonar sound that was constantly playing in the background. Yeah, I guess that's the point, Michael. If you're passionate about the thing that you're enjoying, uh, that's all that matters. And the world is big enough for everyone. Yes, Isabel is barking, Patrick. Do you mean the original Dune, Red, or are you talking about the new Dunes? I haven't seen those. Not for any good reason. I just like the original ones so much that I fear I'm going to be let down by the new ones. Bad Company Piper UK. Smoking some HU Haymaker. Very nice. Yeah, Shatner's been in space. The circle is complete. She wants a beer, says Gary. Uh, I this pipe is done. Burley Flake #1 was fantastic, so thank you much. Uh, Red says he loved the Frank Herbert novels. Did you see the David Lynch version of Dune? Because that's kind of my touchstone. I read the book before I saw that movie. I read the book before they made that movie. And when I saw that movie, I thought, wow, they really got it. You know, they got it right, and I really enjoyed it. So that's why I'm a little worried about watching the newer ones, and the fact that they didn't put it into one movie, but they drug it out concerns me. Off about that is just seeing the commercials that Paul Atreides seems to be about 12 years old. So yes, Sting had no right being that good. Absolutely, Red. There's so many things about that movie that shouldn't have worked, but they all did. Well, folks, it's that time of night, and we've actually gone over a little bit, and I've got to go make Isabel happy. She's fine. She just misses me. So we're going to draw this to a close. I want to thank you all for joining me tonight. It's been interesting and entertaining as always for me. I hope it's been somewhat interesting and entertaining for you. Uh, we're going to continue to be. Uh, there's there's my darling wife. Tried to call me. I have the phone turned off, so Just tying things up now. Uh, Elisa's saying hello to everybody, so make her feel welcome as we wrap things up. I gotta go, darling. Isabel's barking. So you all have a fantastic weekend, and hope you have a great week ahead. I will be back Sunday with something or the other, and hopefully we'll be back next week. It's still touch and go with my brother and everything, but I think it's a pretty clear path right now. So hopefully soon we'll be able to not be so tentative about things, but I'm not gonna promise anything. So with that, guys, you all take care. We'll see you soon.